will be exploring the topic of stop, look, and listen.
Oh, sorry.
Okay? That's
And
beautiful.
what is that?
So what is the origin of the phrase?
The first time I heard it, I go into the crosswalk and the lady goes, stop, look, and listen. And I go,
Oh my
what?
God.
That's all-purpose phrase, in a way.
Yeah.
What does stop mean? Moving too quickly through life, and we're in a hurry. Stop what you're doing. Listen to what's around you. Be sensitive to all the input, negative, positive, whatever. Look around you and listen to your colleagues, listen to your advisors, listen to, every president has a cabinet, right?
Stop, look, and listen. Have you ever done it?
If more conductors did stop and looked and listened to their soloists, we would say better things about them, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you do not stop, look, and listen, you could lose your life. You got to be very vigilant. I have done it. And I'm telling you what the sensation is. It's kind of scary because when you stop and you look and listen, all of a sudden things are very acute. They're
Yeah.
they're very present. I'm
Right.
always an active participant in my art.
Yeah.
I do not hand it over to somebody. Whereas if you just talk through the day and all you do is talk, you're not sensitive to anyone else's opinions or ideas or anything. You're just talking. When the woman said it to me at the crossing guard, I should have taken that as, wow, this is a life warning. I'm a little kid. I need to learn from this lady.
When did you realize that?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. I just go, oh yeah, whatever.
Of course not as a kid, but when did you realize that? Like, middle age or like recent years, when did you think back to that phrase and realize there's more to it?
June 6th, 1978.
Okay.
When that was the real wake-up call.
June 6th. Why?
June
Why?
6th,
What happened?
I'll tell you. Okay, if we have time, how are we doing on time?
A little bit,
I'll tell you
yeah.
a little story. I was about to do my first PBS show that night. It was my first of 4 one-hour shows. And it was in Austin, Texas. And I was in a great mood. I did a little practice. And then all of a sudden I get a call from my publicist, who I'm paying $500 a month for in 1978. That's a lot of money, okay? I mean, that was eating into my earnings big time. She goes, Richie, you only have 3 dates next year. What is Bill doing? And I go, what? After a huge season of world, my debut with the Cleveland Orchestra, my debut with the Phoenix Symphony, all these big gigs all over the place, and now I have 3 dates next year. My world just came to a crashing halt. Okay, and I was listening to her, and I was saying, what? And for it to be that day when I'm doing this show, this recital at night, it had a tremendous impact on the performance, I think, for both for good and bad. And
this was the Right on PBS, right?
No, I did the Brahms Handel and the Faya Fantasia Betica, and then a modern piece by Luis Gonzalez. It was 2 20th century works, one real off-the-wall piece with plucking in the piano and everything. I had to stand up and reach into the piano. All this prepared stuff. And then the Brahms Handel, that started the program. And anyway, so... Yeah, that's not too fun to start with, but now I feel better about it. But at that age, that's not.
But it affected the performance.
It impacted the performance because my whole life just completely stopped and looked and listened. I just go, oh, what's going on here? I mean, I just had a great season. Well, it turns out that the manager, I won't mention his name, was an alcoholic. And he was going through a very deep depression. This is a very famous guy, by the way, and he will remain nameless. And everybody in the business knows him. He's now deceased, and his brother and his father died. They were also big time managers of the New York Philharmonic and the Boston Symphony. And apparently these deaths had taken their toll on him, and he became morose, and he just simply didn't sell me for that past season. And so all I could think about was my own self, So I was thinking, okay, stop, look, and listen. You're going to be broke in a year. Okay, there. That's the real reality of it. You're not going to have any money to eat, and you're going to have to do something besides play concerts. Well,
and now you're thinking back to the crossing guard of saying, stop.
Exactly. I got over it by stopping and analyzing my situation, looking around and seeing, okay, what can I do about this? There's no income, and then listening to others who said, okay, look, man, you can do this, you can teach, you can do that, and so, I 2 years later, I made my Carnegie Hall debut. So, you never know when you're going to pull out of it. You never know when you're going to stop. You never know when you're going to quit. You just don't know. But the idea of stop, look, and listen can have a very profound effect on your life if you actually do it. And sometimes it takes a tragedy, unfortunately, to make you stop, look, and listen. We don't do it naturally. We do it only when we have to. That's the problem. So when there's some horrific thing that happens, then you take an inventory of yourself and you go, is this my fault? Is it his fault? Is it her fault? Is it whose fault is it? And you're always trying to pin the blame on somebody. You're the last one you want to pin the blame on, but maybe it had something to do with you. Maybe it did. In this particular case, it was pretty clear what the problem was. So I had to make decisions. I won't tell you what those decisions were. You stay with the management, leave the management, get a new manager, whatever. The point is I had to stop, look, and listen, and really listen to some good, I would say sobering advice, and people
hard advice,
looking at what they're doing and stopping what I'm doing. Just stop cold turkey. So after the show,
that's difficult.
I quit practicing that whole summer. It was June 6th, 1978. That's why that date sticks in my head. It got to me. So I remember that's the day I woke up. That's the day I grew up. That's the day that I realized this whole thing could slip away, And I was lucky enough or blessed enough that it didn't completely slip away. But I lost part of my life that day because I was so devastated by the news. What do you do when somebody like that, she just calls like, Richie, you don't have any dates next year. What am I going to publicize? And I said, well, I don't know. Why don't you think of something? Click. I wasn't in the mood to listen to this crabby 88-year-old telling me that, my manager stank and wasn't doing his work. And actually, she was a very good friend of his. I got her through him. So I couldn't quite figure out what was going on, But it turned out to be physical ailments and, depression and things like that. Okay, it's very understandable. But not so much, because you don't shrink from your responsibilities just because you're going through hardships. Okay? Just because your father died yesterday, that does not mean you don't play at the Kennedy Center 2 days later. You don't do that. You just don't do that to people. But that's part of stop, look, and listen. You've got to analyze the situation and say, oh, wait a minute here. What would that person want me to do? That died, for example. Would they want me to just grind to a screeching halt? Or would they want me to go on? You have to ask yourself that. Maybe they would want you to grind to a screeching halt, and then you make that decision. Cancel the gig.
Right.
So you see, this show really is about predicaments and what to do in those predicaments. But I'm not giving you an answer. I'm just giving you the scenario, and you've got to decide, hey, that's a hard question.